Hello, Movie Mavens. Welcome back to the B Movies channel. My name is Bailey, and I put the B in movies. I hope everyone's having a wonderful December so far. If you're not, I hope that it's getting better. I have a really big video for you today. I'm actually really excited about this one. We're going to go over several things today and special features, including a new analog horror series called Hare that I have found. We're going to go over the Walton Files minisode. We're going to go over and something that's a little untraditional for us, but I want to talk about the Smosh promo for the Anthony is Dead funeral rose because it's so good. It's like a mini horror movie. And we're also going to do a deep dive on the newest Lights Camera albums, which is for Miley Cyrus's Endless Summer Vacation. And we're also going to talk about some Midwest Angelica updates. The new video, the first video of Act 2 is out. And we have a new Rapid Eyes video as well. So I will, as always, link videos that have come before so that you can see how those updates play into it, like our Midwest Angelica video and our last video where we talked about Rapid Eyes. And I will link all of the pieces we talk about as well below. So, before we dive into special features, let's go ahead and start with our one and only weekly blog roundup. So, if you're new around here, we post over on bmovies.blog. It's always in the description box below. We post every Monday through Friday. And so here on the YouTube channel, we just do a little bit of a recap, take a deep dive on one of those topics. And so this week, on Monday, we talked about snowed-in horror, which is, it's such a fun topic. Things like The Shining, No Exit, The Lodge, etc. We talked about some of my favorite Christmas songs. We talked about my favorite Christmas Carol adaptations, which obviously one is superior, and it is The Muppet Christmas Carol. I will not be taking any further questions at this time. We have our next Lights Camera albums in Miley Cyrus's Endless Summer Vacation. And last but not least, because, and this is one of those pieces where it's just like, this is mine and Elliot's blog. And sometimes there are things I just want to talk about. And so I just really wanted to do a piece about Scooby-Doo and talk about, we've already talked about the Scooby-Doo project, so I'm not going to dive into it again. I will spare y'all the soapbox on that one. But just about Scooby-Doo and the cultural impact it's had. It's very similar to our Brady Bunch piece from a couple weeks back, if you remember that one. So that is what is waiting for you over on bmovies.blog. Again, it's linked in the description box down below, and it's also on our Instagram at bmovieschannel. We have everything linked in our bio. So, the next order of business is obviously Bite Size Sunday. Again, if you're new around here, every Sunday, I do a review that exclusively lives on the B Movies channel Instagram, which again is just B Movies channel, same as our YouTube. And it's just a review for something I've watched or I want to talk about, but I don't have quite enough emotions or just words to say about it. So it's not enough for a review on the main site. And every Friday, we tease what that Bite Size Sunday will be. And that teaser is only here on the YouTube channel. So you only get a teaser here, and then the Bite Size Sunday review itself only lives on our Instagram. So for this week's Bite Size Sunday, the teaser is Blair Waldorf will be back in a flash. So there is your teaser. I am excited for this one because this, my backup hint will be given the time of year. This aligns with the time of year. So, just to recap, all of our blogs are over on bmovies.blog. We also do a roundup in our Instagram stories every Friday, as well as this YouTube video, in case you missed everything. And then Bite Size Sunday reviews are released every Sunday around 8 or 9 a.m. Central Standard over on the B Movies Instagram. Give us a follow over there, just at B Movies channel. So, before we do our deep dive, I have a crazy story for y'all. I don't know if any of you are obsessed with like Glitch in the Matrix, like Reddit stories and TikTok. I mean, anything spooky like Glitch in the Matrix, alternative timelines, time travel, things like that fascinate me. And so I have kind of a weird Glitch in the Matrix-y type story that, to be realistic, it probably was a technical error, but it's one of the craziest things that's happened to me, and it's really, I'll tell my other one too that's not really movie related, but two things have happened to me recently that have made me question my entire reality. So the first one is I bought I take vitamin C every day. Bought a bottle of vitamin C from HEB. Put it in, there's like a specific, I have like, under my sink, I have like a specific storage tub thing that has all of my spare stuff in it. It's like any extra cotton balls, paper towels, deodorant, anything like that goes in the same spot. Okay, so I put the vitamins there. I know I put them there. Everything else, I bought shaving gel, a new pack of toothbrushes, a couple other things. Everything else from that order is under my sink. My vitamins are gone. I searched this entire house, and I distinctly remember putting them there. They are nowhere under the sink. I pulled everything out from under my bathroom sink. I checked multiple drawers. I checked the trash in case I actually threw it out. They're nowhere to be found. I have no clue where these vitamins went, and I know where I put them. So that's my first little non-related glitch in the Matrix story. So here's my pop culture related one that really shooketh me, because this one other people witnessed. So I go to a particular movie chain here in the town I live in that you can probably guess regularly. I have the season pass to this specific movie chain, and there is one that I frequent. So I bought a ticket to see a movie this coming weekend. Okay, I bought it weeks ago. Bought the ticket. The charge is on my bank statement. The ticket is still showing up in my app. Okay, like this ticket is still showing up. So I noticed a couple hours or so after I bought it that the theater was no longer visible on the ticket. It had my seat number, my row number, but I was like, that's weird. They may be just transferring theaters, or they may have moved it to a bigger theater because it's a premiere. So it kept showing like that, and so I went in to go see Killers of the Flower Moon, and so I asked the person working the concierge, I was like, hey, do you know? And they tried to help, but I don't think they really knew what was going on. And to be fair, I don't know if I was doing the best job of explaining it. And so they just told me to wait and I'd get an email, because I was not in the show times for any other showtime that day, nor was my name or ticket in any of the show times for the next day. So I just I contact them. There's like an email form in the reward pass, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to email. So I send them an email, explain my whole thing. So someone calls me again. I missed the call. I called them back, and they're like, okay, well, so what's going on? I explain the situation. They have no record of the showtime I bought a ticket to. On the back end, nothing. For all intents and purposes, the showtime should not exist. The ticket is still in my app. The showtime that I bought is still showing. So they just had to comp me a ticket to the new earliest showtime, because I prefer to go to movies earlier in the day. And if I'm going by myself, I'm not going by myself, it's a safety thing, and it's mainly just a safety thing for me. But I don't like to go to later showings. And so they comped my ticket. And so when I went in to go see another movie, when I went to go see Dream Scenario, the person that I talked to on the phone, I was like, I think I talked to you. And so I showed them, there's no record of my showtime, y'all. And the ticket is still showing in my app. I'm shooketh. I don't know how this happened. It's the craziest thing. And so to have that and my vitamins disappear, I'm like, I have become what I have read for so long. So, if there are any more crazy Glitch in the Matrix stories, I'll let y'all know. But yeah, I was shooketh, and no one can explain how I bought a ticket to the showtime. There's no record of it. So there we go. But crazy Susie about the pesto. which if you've not been watching the Susie Pesto TikToks, I highly recommend them. People are, for those who don't know, this one girl made a TikTok and she makes a statement where she goes, something crazy about me is I don't like store-bought pesto, and so people are stitching with like their crazy life stories, supernatural stories, paranormal stories, etc. And there are some really good ones. But yeah, this is my like, but yeah, Susie, that's crazy about the pesto. So that's my Glitch in the Matrix story. Well, still a little freaked out by it, but I'm sure it's fine. So for my own anxiety, let's go ahead and move on to today's deep dive, which is the Lights Camera albums for Miley Cyrus's Endless Summer Vacation. If you're new, Lights Camera Albums is a series that we launched a few weeks ago where we take an artist's album and we go song by song and we pair a movie with it. And also, if you're new here, if you're wondering why I'm saying we, bmovies is run by me and one of my best friends, Elliot. So that's should explain some of the we-ness. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the songs and why I chose them, go a little bit further, and then we'll hop into our special features. So first up, we have Flowers / the Flowers demo. I just combined them because I didn't think it was worth doing two separate songs because it's the same song, just the demo version. So I paired this with the First Wives Club because it's all about girl power. It's all about, sisters are doing things for themselves. And so I thought Flowers paired nicely because it's about Miley Cyrus learning that she can do all those things for herself, just like, Diane Keaton and Goldie Hawn learned to do. I would say Bette Midler gets back with her husband, though, so it's a little bit different. But, I still applaud her character growth. So next up we have Jaded, which I paired with The Holiday. And I immediately just thought of Kate Winslet's character, Iris, and Jasper, who's played by Rufus Sewell, and it's just, he has her so under his thumb and just has her longing for the what if. And the good news is she finally does realize her self-worth and realizes that she's a leading lady, and she kicks him to the curb. And so I feel like this song is about her learning to stand up for herself and being like, I'm over you. I'm done with this. I see this for what it is now. Next up, we have Rose-Colored Glasses. I have The Great Gatsby. And I know that the whole idea of the Roaring Twenties is in access, but I chose The Great Gatsby because Baz Luhrmann always goes over the top and is extravagant with all of his movies. And I just thought a lot about Daisy and Jay Gatsby and how, they kind of know, Daisy knows from the beginning it's never going to last. She's never going to choose Gatsby fully because Gatsby, Tom is the safe one, right? Even though Tom, I could talk all day long about the characters in The Great Gatsby and all of their poor life choices, but they're just going to keep on those rose-colored glasses and sneak around for as long as they can. For Used to Be Young, Divine Secrets of the Yaga Sisterhood, A Secret About Me, I love movies like this. Give me Ashley Judd movies, give me Sandra Bullock movies. They are like Stepmom, Divine Secrets of the Yaga Sisterhood, Hope Floats. Give me those Wine Bomb movies. We've talked about this before. And I think of Used to Be Young, it just makes me think of all of the flashbacks that like Ellen Burstyn and Finola Flanagan and Shirley Knight and Maggie Smith have. And it's just how they go from like these carefree young girls to all of the struggles that they endure in motherhood and just growing up in general. 1,000 Miles, which is featuring Brandi Carlile, I paired with Burlesque because she, has had this sordid history, and her mother died when she was young, and so, she gets to LA, she gets robbed, and so finally she has done all of this traveling, but she's finally landing on solid ground, and I just thought it paired well. I know that a lot of people hate Burlesque, y'all. I love Burlesque. I'm a Burlesque apologist. I love that movie. Yeah. That case closed. For You, I put Practical Magic because I really like thinking of the juxtaposition of how Sally versus love versus how Jillian views love. And Jillian, like, love is intoxicating and mysterious and passionate and has almost a darkness to it, Whereas Sally just wants normalcy. She wants stability. She wants that connection. And so I think of it as having both of their perspectives. For handstand, now listen, if you know me, the physics of handstand are a topic of conversation I have constantly because I still don't fully understand what is happening within that song. And so I think that it was only right to just pair it with like another movie that has like a very silly sex scene question mark in American Pie. So that's all I have for you on that. It's not, I promise there's not some above and beyond deeper meaning. It's just, I think it's a silly song. I paired it with another silly song, and movies of like that American Pie area, American Pie era. I don't know why I thought that was going to be easy to say. Have that like impossible sex scene, or like they're seen through such a male gaze that I just thought it was a fun pairing. For River, I put Friends with Benefits. River is about, we know what River's about. I'm just gonna say that. I don't think there is truly anything I can say that will not get me kicked off YouTube. So I just want to say, speaking of Friends with Benefits, I know it has Mila Kunis. Neither Elliot or I condone any of Mila Kunis's recent actions or what she did up towards Danny Masterson. No. You were wrong. Just because, to go on my soapbox for the episode, as someone who has personal experience living with someone who was one way in public and one way in private, they may have been good to you, but that does not mean they were good to everyone, and two things can be true. And that's all I'm going to say. Is that, as I call them, abooters, are very good at being two-faced and are very good at being charismatic. And so I can speak from personal experience. Two things can be true. Sure, he may have been a great friend to you, but that does not mean that he was great to everybody else. So that's just my soapbox. But, Friends with Benefits, it is a rom-com, but it just starts out with two people hooking up. And so, it does work out because they eventually do become a couple. And, that obviously, for some people that does lead to children. And so I thought it worked well on a couple levels. For Violet Chemistry, I have Ava's Possessions. And so I actually loved this movie. And this was one of the first pairings I made in my head because it, like a couple of these other pairings, it works on two levels. Because you have Ava and her demon, and then Ava and Hazel. So Hazel wants to keep her demon around, and she attempts to show Ava the benefits of possession, but also Ava and her demon are interconnected, and they're always doing this like literal devil's tango. And so I think that it works in a couple different ways. For Muddy Feet, featuring Sia, which I'm not even going to get on that soapbox about Sia. John Tucker Must Die. Like, Muddy Feet is obviously like a very it would be like dark John Tucker Must Die. But they both have two things in common, which is they're about infidelity and revenge. And so I think that that's pretty obvious. Wild card, I have Pretty Woman, just because I think this is Julia Roberts. I think this is Vivian at the beginning of the movie. When she first starts her rendezvous with Richard Gere, and it's kind of being like, I'm a wild card, don't depend on me. But neither of us can commit anyway. And so I think that it would be good in the first act of Pretty Woman. For Island, okay. So I know I have Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and I know that a lot of people probably have thoughts about this. But I just think of Donna traveling to Kalahari, how devastated she is when Sam leaves, and it's having these spaces, right? Like, I've lived in the same city for 14 years. So, obviously, during that time, I have liked people, I have kind of dated people, I've had situationships with people, and so there are places I have that have these wonderful memories, but that are also, there's bittersweetness. There's a level of bittersweetness around it. And so I think that it really parallels Miley's feelings, because it's like, this is my home, but I still have bittersweet memories in some parts of my city or in some places that I frequent. And then lastly, we have Wonder Woman. I immediately thought of Barbie. I thought of America Ferrera's speech in Barbie. Being a woman or being femme presenting, it's so exhausting. And I think it's really easy for us to forget that we are allowed to show emotions, let alone that we even have them. And so this is one of my favorite songs on the entire album. And B, I just think that it really shows the complexities of societal expectations around emotions, especially for women and femme presenting peeps. So, now that we've wrapped up the deep dive, let's dive into our new segment, Special Features, which is where we talk about where we talk about new media that I've found that I haven't written about quite yet, or I don't know how to write about it yet. We may never write about it. Updates on some of our favorite horror ARGs and analog series like Project Earth, which the finale's coming up, and please make more content. Midwest Angelica, which we're doing today, Rapid Eyes, which we're doing today. And so it's just a way for us to talk about a bunch of other things that, we may not have the blog updated yet, or, we may never. So, to kick us off, let's talk about Angel Hare. Oh my god. Okay, so this is by the East Patch. Their series is wonderful. And so it starts out, after finding and purchasing a religious cartoon from his childhood, Jonah gets more than he bargained for when he compares his purchased tape to the recorded version that he watched as a child. This series is dark. I'm going to give a CWTW for child a boot, which is my word for, yeah. And implied pew-pew violence. I am not trying to undermine it. I just can't say that word on YouTube, but a specific type of violence. However, it's incredibly unique in both the content and the storytelling itself. It's masterfully done. It kind of, at the beginning, it reminded me if it turned out Larry the Cucumber was talking to you and attempting to help you eradicate the source of your childhood trauma. And the series is confirmed to be over. So all of the episodes are up. There are 2 seasons. I will definitely link the East Patch YouTube channel in the description box. Give it a watch. This is what I did. Truly, I watched it on Thanksgiving. It was either Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving. And I'm obsessed with it. I think the series is great. I think that the animation is so impressive. And it's just really unique. And I'm a sucker for a unique storyline. And there's nothing I can really think of to compare it to. And so I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this one and other projects from the Mangan sisters moving forward. But definitely check it out, and I will link it below because it's worth the watch, 1,000%. So next up in our special features, we have Spectacle, which is a Walton Files minisode. So we've talked about the Walton Files on Bite Size Sunday, and so I just kind of wanted to bring it back because I haven't done a big thing because I was late to the Walton Files train. I love it. I have one of their posters up in my office. But we haven't done a piece on it just because, again, there's been so much. I've mentioned them, though, in an analog horror piece that I did when I was writing for Hyperreal. But I just wanted to talk about them, and we will talk about them when the series starts, which we'll get to that in a second. But so this is a minisode. It's only a few minutes long. It's not like an official installment, but to me, it's like the preview and a connecting piece of media for the upcoming season 4. So there's like unsolved mystery inspired music in the background mixed with local access news. I love the feel of that. The creator I don't know if the channel used to be under Martin Wallace. I don't know if it still is. And so I'm just going to refer to the Walton Files, and I'll link their channel below. So apologies to the creator, because I'm not sure if that is his real last name, but that's just what the channel was under for a while. So we'll just refer to him as Martin Walls, and then I'll link the channel below. So throughout like the news footage, faces are blurred. I think that that's wonderful. The footage of the animatronics is dope. It's almost like this, if you remember Angela Anaconda, like that type of like cutout animation, stop motion, I'm not sure what it falls under. I think that's wonderful. I think this is so cool, because as someone who grew up watching like Unsolved Mysteries, America's Most Wanted, it's very much that vibe of media. And so the Minnesota itself appears to be a news report that aired shortly after July 19th, which is the night that Rosemary Walton disappeared. It may be a retrospective, but to me, I think this happens right. I think this is happening in real time. I don't think this is like a retrospective piece. I think it happens in real time. And again, it's, if you grew up loving true crime even from childhood, it's so great. And if you haven't watched The Walton Files, now's the time to catch up. Because keep your eyes on the Walton Files channel, gang. And subscribe if you haven't. Because at the end of the Bontergeist video, which is promoting their new plush, there's a date that's shown, which is January 31st, 2024. Which I am assuming is when season 4 is going to either start being released or will be released. So now is the perfect time to catch up if you haven't. Or to begin the series if you haven't. Because I think in the next month, I think we're going to start seeing season 4, series 4, whatever you'd like to call it. So I will link the Walton Files channel below. Please check it out. So next up we have the Anthony is Dead trailer. And I know Smosh is a comedy channel, but I have to talk about this trailer that Courtney Miller directed and that they put together for Anthony's funeral roast. So for context, before I dive into it, Smosh has a series that's directed by Courtney Miller called Blank is Dead, where they hold a funeral for a member of their crew, cast, or like another YouTuber friend, like they've done Rhett and Link, they've done Keith and Zach from the Try Guys, so on and so forth. And during these funerals, there are roasts where not only does the deceased get roasted, but the people there are usually roasted as well, like into oblivion. They roast them into oblivion. And then the roastee at the end has the opportunity to return the favor. So they come back to life to roast everyone. So for the second piece of context, Ian and Anthony have revived, ironically, their friendship, and they bought Smosh back, if you missed that news. So 6 years ago, Ian and Anthony, they had a falling out. Ian has been running Smosh by himself ever since. When Defy shut down, Ian, pitched Smosh, which was bought by Mythical, and now Ian and Anthony, a while back, have kind of secretly rekindled their friendship, and they've recently bought Smosh back this year. So, with that being said, it's time for Anthony to roast in peace. So, I was a big Smosh fan back in middle school and high school. And then during the 2020 lockdown, I got into YouTube, and a ton of y'all read my piece about the YouTube channels I watch. I'll link it below again, but that's one of the best performing blogs we've had this year. So a lot of you know, I watch the Smosh channels. So during 2020, I went down this massive YouTube rabbit hole, and I did a massive binge of Smosh content. And I've been an avid watcher of their channel since, and it's been so cool to watch Smosh grow and evolve. And so with that comment, this trailer is badass. Courtney Miller did an excellent job directing. The cast and crew killed it. I've watched it several times, and I don't skip it when it comes up on YouTube. Again, I watch YouTube regularly. I have many channels I'm subscribed to. And I'll even let the trailer play through all the way just to give them that ad revenue. It's like watching a horror short. And I'll link the trailer below. And the roast is actually tonight. It's a ticketed live show. And so I will link the ticket link and the trailer below. I recommend getting a ticket if you can. I also understand things are expensive, things are hard, it's right at the holidays. Totally understand if you can't afford it. But just give their trailer a watch then, and give them that watch and give them that attention, because it's incredible. So the whole trailer is based around like Anthony is possessed on movie night. They watch like a ring style thing. Ian summons different characters that are going to be at the roast. Tommy Bow, who is one of the editors at Smosh, I believe is his official title, does the background music. It's incredible. And so if you can't afford it, I would definitely recommend snagging a live show it's tonight. And I think all the ticket options come with a video on demand rewatch. And they're already teasing it's like one of the biggest live shows they've ever done. And honestly, the Blank is Dead series is usually hysterical. Even if you're new to Smosh, you can still laugh and appreciate a lot of the jokes. And so I just wanted to give them a shout out because this trailer is incredible. And so shout out to Courtney Miller, shout out to cast and crew, shout out to everybody that was involved. Obviously Smosh, you'll probably never see this, but like, love your content, love what you do. I go to your live, I always get tickets to your live shows whenever I can. And it's just been really cool to watch you go from Best Car Ever, which is my favorite Smosh video of all time, to now doing these funeral roasts. And it's kind of like I've grown up with you, even though I fell off for a few years. And I just thank you for always making me laugh and always just like making me smile on bad days. So next up, I told you we had a jam-packed video today. So next up, we have a new Rapid Eyes video. We have Rapid Eyes 12 came out, and I'm getting nervy about what's going on here. So with Rapid Eyes 12, we start on a screen that seems to be like an inverted version of the world we're used to, with the file name dev_2.png in the bottom left corner, as well as like the sound and copy that we usually associate with radio. And it comes up in the bottom right corner and it says beginnings of something awful. And we've kind of seen this copy before. It may be the other person that comes through on radio, but it's definitely someone who has come through on radio, because that it's the sound and the copy. I just don't foresee it being anyone else. So these images continue to appear and appear to show early game like staging, but there's a sinister feeling about it. And as soon as we continue through the video, it appears that like primitive versions of the notes that the player has gotten in the past are here, but they're just like chicken scratch. Like there's nothing discernible on them when you click on them. So there's no copy, there's no text, but it's the same basic principle of the letters. So one radio caption I do want to call out as these stills cycle through is creations of hate, not love. And again, I'm saying radio because I'm not sure if it's actually like the radio or the other person that has sometimes been coming through on radio. So finally, we do see our radio in the flesh, and she talks with Red Eyes about the space he's creating, which it honestly looks similar to a haunted version of the Windows Brick Wall Maze screensaver. If you know, you know. For some of my young ones, you may have no clue what I'm talking about. Google the brick screensaver. So radio begins to make suggestions about like the color scheme and the atmospheres, but Red Eyes is having none of it. And then Red Eyes makes an interesting comment in that he's apparently removed radio before, but she keeps coming back, to which she replies, "You can't ignore me forever." And then we cut back to the dev images of the game and get another caption saying, "You should listen to her," which we can infer is alluding to radio, because if memory serves, radio has been referred to in she, her pronouns. And then towards the end of the video, we see Red Eyes smash radio into pieces and claim that radio is an infestation he cannot get rid of. And then the video ends with a haunting shot of radio on the table as smoke pours out of her, with the only sound being that of crackling, to signify Red Eyes may have actually rid the game of radio forever, but I hope not, because I love radio. And as we all know, I get very attached to characters in media very easily. So that is where we've left it. I hope radio's okay. But we'll see. We're getting some interesting exposition here, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next installment, not installation. Goodness gracious. I am filming this after a work day, obviously. But we'll see in the next installment of Rapidice. Which I think we'll probably have before Christmas, if I had to guess, with kind of the cadence, but we'll see. So last, but certainly not least, in this week's special features, we have new Midwest Angelica. And it's entitled Homebound, and this kicks off Act 2. So, there's a lot to cover, so bear with me. So we start with the Home Delta logo, and then we get a title card claiming that this video is top secret and is only for the eyes of Delta Home Command, approved by Admiral Nero. So something called Operation Homebound is slated to begin on 4/13/99, and we see that more importantly, Home HQ is supposed to be fully and completely assimilated, which we know from past videos, assimilated has not been used for anything good. It usually means that you're part of this hive mind alien life force cult mess. So we then see the scene from the Act 2 trailer, and we learn that Home HQ has been wasted. And we also see that the altar from Act 1 is fully engulfed in flames. So we go location by location, and we see that life forms at many, if not all, of the locations shown in Act 1 are being just annihilated. And we're informed that allegedly the Starkill threat, the one that showed a total infestation towards the end of Act 1, has seemingly been neutralized? ? So then we cut to another classified broadcast, the same one for the Admiral Nero message shows again. We cut to another classified broadcast from the next day, which is 4/14/1999. And again, same Admiral Nero, it's been approved by him. So someone identified as G.C. Piso approaches a podium of what it appears to be like a press conference, but his face is censored by a black square. Piso states that Starkill has been eradicated, and then sheds some extremely interesting light on AZ-001. It appears that AZ-001 apparently works within cycles and attempts to wipe out humanity ever so often. So, like, every so often this thing just tries to wipe out humanity. And there are, like, some biblical imagery, like, of the Ark, like Noah's Ark and things like that. We then get a twist reveal. In that this man actually isn't General Piso, but a death row inmate named Isaac Dunn, who is assassinated, and they actually have no idea where General Piso is. Now, if you remember from the title cards, Admiral Nero, he's a disciple of Azrael, that entity that they were worshipping at the altar. Yeah, so cool, love that. He's the first disciple, in fact, as the title card at the bottom shows us. Admiral Nero also is not human. Admiral Nero, he's like a creepy version of Face from Nick Jr. with a bunch of tentacles. So love that journey for us. We also find out that Piso seems to be assimilated, and he's done his little slither nonsense and merged with Admiral Nero, as Nero says that whoever he's speaking to is like the last of their kin, which we can infer to mean the last of those who have assimilated. We also found out that Starkill was the goal of Home the entire time. So Nero has used the elimination of Starkill as a way to distract everyone so that more pieces, or what I believe are to be more disciples, can fall down to Earth while everyone's guard is down. It's like it's smoke and mirrors. Nero then essentially pulls a Phantom of the Opera and is like, "Sing for me, my angels." And then we cut to a screen that says Home Delta threat obliterated. And the last scene appears to be like a sonar image, of a sub that shows glowing at the bottom of the ocean. So, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little confused. But I'm gonna give you my interpretation and what I think is going on to try to connect some dots. I think Admiral Nero, like I said, I think Starkill was a front. I think there's a way bigger bad on the way. I think there's a way bigger threat on the way. I think that this was smoke and mirrors. I think it was a front. 2, I think they wiped out anyone from home who could actually help or was going to help. And I think that maybe AZ001 and co. made some sacrifices of their own life forms for the greater good. That's what I think. That's where I currently am. I think that why home was decimated, I think that there were people there that could have helped. And I do think this is smoke and mirrors. I do think that Starkill being eliminated, either it's not quite what it seemed, or again, it was a sacrifice. It was a trolley problem, like for the greater good. So that's where we are. I'm very excited that Midwest Angelica is back. As y'all know, it's one of my 5 favorite analog horror series right now. And I really can't wait to see where this goes. And I'm very interested at the whole Admiral Nero thing, because again, it's like he looks like a jacked up face from Nick Jr. I'm really interested to see what their plans are and and be introduced to some of the new big bads. So that is the last thing I have for you in special features, so that will wrap up our segment. So just to recap, Bite Size Sundays exclusively over on the B Movies channel Instagram, at B Movies channel, just like our YouTube handle. You can read all of the pieces that I mentioned over on bmovies.blog, and I will also link our deep dive today, which is the Lights Camera albums, down below in the description box. I will also link everything I talked about today in the description box, as well as videos where we have previously talked about them. So, just everything is in that little box for you. So, just to wrap things up, feel free to follow me over on Instagram at Lisa_Frankenstein_. Feel free to follow Elliot, reading.with.red. Follow us on Instagram at bmovies channel. And you can read blogs we publish Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. every Monday through Friday. A new blog is popping in to your email, popping up on the blog. Give us a like. And for YouTube, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Be sure you turn on all notifications, because for some reason, Personalized or the other ones, it just won't tell you when we have new videos. And we want you to know when we have new videos. Leave a comment. What are some of your favorite analog horror series right now? What are some YouTube channels you grew up with and still watch, and you've watched them evolve? Leave us a comment, and just thank you. Thank you, as always, Movie Mavens, for all of your support. Again, I love doing this. I'm very fortunate that I get to do this every week. And I'm feeling sappy and sad because it's the holidays. But, again, hope you're having a wonderful December. If not, I hope it's turning around. And I think with that, all that's left to do is fade to black.